I guess I just wanted to ask y'all a little bit about, whether it's Ellen, who is great, but I also don't mean to like prop up as the only important comedian in history. But who was it for y'all growing up that, felt important, seeing a woman on stage, knowing that women could be funny, whether it was watching, I almost said Jane Curtin, and I was going to mention other old-fashioned Saturday Night Livers that again are wasted references at this crowd. But
I guess, said Carol Burnett.
Okay, that's true. That's true. I guess I'm just curious. Who were the funny ladies growing up that inspired y'all, or to let you all know that it's okay to make jokes?
Kathy Griffin. I remember watching her stand-up specials on E, and all the controversy at the time, and then oh man, just even still now that Trump head picture, and then she had the Shane Dawson interview, and I admire how always open, and how much she spoke her truth, and her mom. And then my first girl crush was Sarah Silverman.
Yeah,
the Maxim cover where she's in the gorilla suit. That was my first gay.
I'll be honest with you. Jesus is Magic was one of those specials that made me actually stop and ask myself, holy shit, am I a Christian because my parents are Christians?
Oh no.
No, it was weird because it was the same time that the Jonas Brothers came out, and I was just oh. Yeah, and then my mom had a boyfriend who just had a shoebox full of Maxim magazines, and found one day, and I remember the chicks in the bikinis and stuff, that wasn't what was doing it for me. But yeah, for some reason, just her just being in that gorilla suit and being hilarious and talking about comedy, the interview in that, I actually read the interview, was really good.
You kept that issue for the articles, what you're telling me.
No, I had to put it back in the shoebox under the bed. But no, that always stood out to me is just this, there's not one specific type of sexiness, and that being funny and comfortable, and also ironically I'm kind of a furry now, so it's 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 a give and take kind of thing. But yeah, no,
it's just a lot of ingredients in that stew. Really came together for you.
Looking back, that magazine was pretty instrumental in my formation. And then Fran Drescher, again, just funny ladies with great voices.
Very distinct voices, and I think that raises a really interesting point, which is that when we talk about comedy, we're talking about wit. Whether you have to be quote unquote intelligent or what that even means. We don't need to break all of that down. But when we're talking about being funny, we are talking about being quick, being clever, being cutting. Willing to be insulting. I mean, anything other than demure, anything other than what women are expected to be or trained to be in so many ways.
Yeah, absolutely. I think being a comedian too, there's so much room for variation, and it's there's not even one type of comedy. It's I mainly do stand-up stuff, but there's a lot more women in improv. Which is really amazing. It's not I don't have that kind of fast-paced improv.
Yeah,
I spoke way too much for that. But I think that's definitely where that quick wit really shines. Me, I like to have my stuff written down and rehearse it and stuff. But conversationally, I can still kind of come up with good banter and stuff. But yeah, no, it's definitely I think improv is definitely where a lot of that quick wittedness and where women really shine with stuff. Improv, oh gosh, sketch comedy. Oh, I fucking love sketch comedy. Broad City is my favorite shit.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. And then was it Hargnall and Sclocleopepia? It was this Adult Swim
You
show.
have lost me entirely. I'm ready to go back to talking about Saturday Night Live and Mad TV and I guess old people shit. Fuck, guys, I'm 31.
Okay, so Hargnall and Sclocleopepia it's on Hulu. It was one season on Adult Swim. It's Brad Neely's Hargnall and Sclocleopepia. So Brad Neely, he does China, Illinois. Nothing. Okay.
Yep.
So,
Nope. I will have to look this up and include it in the footnotes so that everybody has a chance to figure out what the hell we're talking about. Kids these days, they say the darndest things. Scanalamanopodopia.
No, like the name intentionally like doesn't make sense. They wanted it to
is untranslatable.
Yeah, and then every episode is like dedicated to a celebrity. It's oh my gosh, it's the funniest shit, and like it's just so absurd and doesn't make any sense, and it's like that perfect like niche of like Adult Swim stoner comedy, which like I just if I ever like like one day like cross is this a wooden table anyway knock on wood that like one day I can do shit like that where it's like Broad City, like Hargnolans, like some Rick and Morty just off the wall type shit.
That sort of nihilistic, like absurd stoner stuff.
Yeah, like that's my niche. And Canadian, or no, not Canadian, Australian. There's like this. Oh gosh, what was her name? It's like Danny something, but she's the only other comedian I've seen that wears a fanny pack on stage, and like she always wears like knee-high socks. And I forget if she's Canadian or Australian, but she's hilarious, and she has the song where it's like my dad's voicemail list or something, or anyways but it's like really good, and like it's again like just crazy musical, like off the wall, like Bo Burnham. She's like a fanny pack knee-high sock wearing Bo Burnham. It's great. But yeah, no, I love that, like that quick-witted, just off the wall, like crazy shit like that. And like one day I'll get there.
Oh yeah, no, Broad City was huge when I found that. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be okay. Yeah. Because like you look at them and they get into the worst, and like weirdly it was like helpful for my anxiety because I was like, oh wait. Oh, this is literally the worst case scenario every time.
I've definitely never done that,
and they're
I'll be
still
fine.
alive and having fun. So maybe life isn't terrible.
Like for me,
fact
that's
that women,
always. I'm sorry.
just how about the fact that women can be dirty, that women poop, women like sex, women, you know,
they're
as
fully human.
as men are.
The episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia where they like trick Dee into thinking she becomes a famous stand-up comedian will always be like my favorite episode, and I'm always worried is going to happen to me one day. Like that's my worst case scenario. But I figured like, okay, like if that's like my worst nightmare and she got through it, I can do it, which like is a terrible thing to say about it. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Because she also didn't crack, and I'm not going to end up doing that. But still, it's like, I don't know, like it's like it is comforting to like see these scenarios and like see other women like being funny and able to like handle those scenarios
and laughing about it,
because
it's not it doesn't always have to be like, you know, the morality drama where like and then she strayed and became like the saddest woman in the world because she sinned, you know. It's like, oh, she can laugh and get back up and keep doing her thing. And
I love that that's like changing like the narrative around a lot of life stuff, because it's like sometimes shit is like scary and anxious and stuff, but like being able to laugh at it at the end of the day is like definitely like the biggest relief for anxiety ever. Well, that's Zoloft, but yeah.
Oh man, yeah. I watched Nanette, Hannah Gadsby's special last year, alone in my apartment. I was not ready. I was not ready. I had
to turn it off. I had to pause it and come back to it.
Yeah, I was,
because of how emotionally jarring that particular program could be. It's available on Netflix. I would very much encourage people.
Go watch it.
Hannah Gadsby is the comic. Particularly her special Nanette is available.
But like, apart from the fact that like I ended a comedy show both like fully satisfied with all the jokes, but also like bawling my eyes out, was in and of itself like an amazing experience that I had not seen before. But also kind of going off of what you said, like as long as you're not hurting someone, you should be able to say whatever you want on stage. And I feel like that's always been this contention with me, because the only time I hear that is when there are like these you know, male comedians who are like, I just want to make rape jokes, you know, and I should be allowed to do that. And
it's my First Amendment right.
Right. Yeah. And like I've always had this tension where like, I don't know if I agree with that. Like in theory I do, but also like I know you're not going to use it wisely or well. But she proved that like you can talk about anything. Like she talked about everything. Like she just laid it all out there, but it was in a way that was so tactful and respectful and funny. And it's more like, yes, you can talk about anything, but you need to be good enough to talk about anything, you know?
Oh, yeah. That's definitely, like, the biggest thing. It's, like, if you aren't going to, like, be respectful about the topic and be genuinely funny and making a positive point about it, like, why do it? It's like, okay, anyone can get up there and, like, say some, like, fucking...
As the rules of comedy in general,
But, like, like, it's shitty, but they can get up there and do it. And it's like, I'd like to think that, you know, they wouldn't get booked and stuff, but they do. And it sucks. But, like, you know, you just have to, like, keep pushing for, like, that change. And I definitely, like, at least, like, I guess going back to that, like, Facebook comedian drama, like, there's definitely been a huge, like, push to, like, get these kind of, like, shitty men, like, out of scenes and, like, you know, like, there's, like, you know, comedian Facebook groups and stuff. So it's like we talk like we're all like, oh, like this guy did this, or like, and it's like, okay, let's not book him, and like, well, you know, and like I was saying, like my like shout out to Wes Corwin, funniest person in Texas. But like I was saying, that's like my comedy big brother, and like he is like super receptive, and like I'll be like, hey, this guy did this, and he'll be like, cool, I'll let everyone know, not like all the promoters and stuff, not to book him. Like it's we're very supportive, and I think again because like Austin and like Dallas are like again very close knit performance communities, that we definitely look out for each other and try to like, you know, pick the best people. And that's not to say like we're not gonna just like randomly ostracize someone just because they're bad at comedy.
Sure.
It's like you have to like do something, like harass someone, like be kind of a shitty person